In this video, we will go through just a quick run through of how to use Elementor, how to get into it, and just do some very basic edits. So once you have Elementor on your site, you'll notice that instead of using the usual WordPress editor area, when you go to there and you turn on Elementor, if it doesn't show that edit with Elementor option, it'll show just, the basic WordPress content editor area, and then you'll click edit with Elementor. Elementor will load up, and then you'll be able to use that with your page. So we just kind of let it load. There we go. And now Elementor will be loading. You can see the bar at the top. It'll be going across, just loading the page. And this is where Elementor is. So from here, you can kind of see as you hover over stuff, if there's anything on the page, you can hover over and just shows you, what box you're in, what column you're in, what row you're in, and just you can just see how much functionality you have using this. You can just do a quick column change. You can do just everything very quickly, and keeping a good design. And you can kind of come in here, do the text. Let's say you want to change this bit of text right here, click in here. I would recommend doing the text tab, and then there you go. There's your text. Edit the text, it'll edit the page. So if we want to take maybe this out right here, there it is. It'll show the update right in the preview window. Let's see here, about the padding and the margin around stuff. This will come in handy when you're adding your own rows and just adding your own content. Is you may need some space within your row or your column, wherever you're working with. So what you can do is in your row, so like these blue tabs up here show this blue border around this section, which makes this a row. And if you click the edit section button right here, this is where you have control over your row. You can say if the content's going to be full width or boxed within the content grid. You can say if the content position, you want it towards the middle of the columns, the top. Default, it doesn't look like they have much room, so they're not going to move too much. You can change the style of the section or this row. So like you can give it like a background color right here. Let's maybe give it a little bit of a grayish background like that. Or we can put an image. We can set an image as the background right there. We probably don't want it to repeat, so we'll say no repeat. Position, center, size, cover, stuff like that. So that's just kind of that little bit of stuff that you can do with the rows. And then in the advanced tab up here, this is where you can control the padding, which will come in handy when you're on different devices. So about the different devices, right now we're on desktop, and if we change that down to tablet, there's tablet, and we can see that the padding, it changed to the tablet. So you can see the tablet is now blue. So we can actually give custom padding only on the tablet. And if we change this to a mobile device, right there, we can then give it some custom padding just for the mobile device. Let's go back to desktop. Looks like it's just a bunch of more text stuff to edit. Here are some custom elements that, the little counter element, which is kind of nice. You can, say how many clients you have, projects completed, stuff like that. A little call to action there. So if we want to build something custom, like we want to, let's see, let's do this right here. Add a new section right there. So now we have our new row. We have our own row. We can go in here, find, maybe we want to put an image in there. Put an image. Okay, so maybe we don't want an image so huge. Maybe we should add a couple columns and then put the image in the middle column. So let's do this. Go up to the column, right click it, click add new column. So now we have 2. We'll add another one. Now we have 3. So we can take this, move it to the center, and now we can choose our image. Let's make it full size. Now we can choose an image, put it right there in the middle, and there's our image. And if we think it's a little too close to the top or the bottom, like let's say we put it maybe somewhere about right here. So it might be a little too close to the top content. So let's add a little bit of padding to the row. Right there, we'll go into the row. This thing right here, you can link the values together. So if you edit one of them, it will edit all of them. Or you can turn that off like this. You can unlink it like that. So we just want to add some top padding. Give it a little room. There we go. Maybe about 40 pixels. Okay. So now we've got a little room above our image. And it looks like the bottom is pretty good. And then what we can do is we can then check on tablet, make sure it looks good. Yep. Good padding. And good padding. Okay, so that's just adding rows and putting some stuff into them. To remove this, we would just click the X to delete the section, and it'll do that. If you accidentally delete a section, you can always go back to the history option right here, click history, and it'll tell you what you did, section removed. So we can actually go back to this before we remove that section, and now we have it back. So that's always an option there. We'll just remove that. So we want to keep that removed. Okay, we can look at the different elements. Let's see about adding a section right in here. Okay, so what I did there was each row has this little plus icon, and what that does, it adds a section right above the one that you're editing. So if we do this, it'll add a little section there, and then we can add anything we want to there. Let's go back to our elements. Maybe grab a Google map, put in there. We can add an address. There we go, put one for Indy. Change the zoom. And if you put in a very defined address of a business, it will most likely grab the business name up here. If not, you'd have to go the route of going out to Google, getting the iframe, and then putting it into the, it's called raw HTML, or actually, let me see, HTML. There it is. It's called HTML, and you'd have to put the iframe code of the Google map in there to do that. So there's our Google map. If there is a little spacing around it, what we can do is we can go to the column settings, just kind of remove the space, make sure there's no padding, no margin. Go to our row settings, make sure there's no padding, margin, and make sure that it is full width. Okay, so there we go. Perfectly full width Google map on our page. Let's go through any other items. Spacer, if you want just a little bit of space for something, but padding is usually used for that. You can add padding, but if not, you want to add maybe some quick space to something. There you go. You can add the space, tell how many pixels, and you can also change that on different devices. We don't want that, so let's right-click it and delete it. This is just the basic stuff. Icons, pro items, if you have that option. There's the different pro items. We don't really need to go into detail too much about them. Let's see. Yeah, so there's like the slider, navigation menu if you want that somewhere. Yeah, just kind of self-explanatory stuff there. You can add Facebook embeds to your page, some share buttons. And here are just some more general items if you want to add them, like accordion or toggle, like where you have, the text. like you have some text and then you can toggle it like that. That one comes in handy a lot. Like we use it pretty frequently with like the FAQs. Let's see, tab options, image gallery and image carousel. We use that quite often too. It's nice to have like a image gallery somewhere, just kind of, maybe it's like a grid, or like you can change it actually. You can have like different columns, add columns. You can make them go into like a light box. When you click on them, it blows them up into a light box so you can see them easier, just stuff like that. So that's kind of image gallery. And that's about it. So that's kind of just a very basic run through of how to use Elementor once it's installed. It is a little bit to get used to. I had to get used to it from using Visual Composer and then switching to this because Elementor has its very own page builder area, so I kind of had to get used to that. But once we did, it was worth it and a lot easier to use, and it makes designing pages a whole lot faster.